explicar. Ojalá no llegue a su fin. Es como tocar las olas del mar, una corriente que me lleva a ti. Es como una apuesta de sol que me tienta a solamente quedarme aquí. Haré lo que fuera y que el tiempo se detenga. Mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti, mis ojos quieren ver más de ti, más de ti, mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti, me tienes
El placer nunca fue el problema. El problema es la mentira de decir que no lo necesitamos. Porque contigo no me pierdo, me encuentro. Y en cada nota, en cada ola, en cada roca, descubro que la paz también puede ser éxtasis. La verdad es que no quiero más de ti. Quiero más de mí cuando estoy contigo.
la paz que me das, no puedo explicar. Ojalá no llegue a su fin. Es como tocar las olas del mar. Mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti. Mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti. Mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti. Mis ojos quieren ver más de ti. Más de ti. Don't eat
What's up, gang? It is Taco Tuesday. You gotta keep it fun around here. So let's see what trades are gonna give us something to eat today. I'm stoked, hyped here to be with y'all. It's man, it's cold out there. It's cold out there. If you're in Chicago right now, Jesus, it's like 5 degrees out there right now. It's gonna be 70 on Saturday. It makes no sense. But let's get into the markets. It's always a good time to eat, and let's just dive right in. All right. So let me screen share. Take a look at some things here. So Dow right now is starting to clear, or about to clear, these New York highs, and it already cleared this nice little spike. A nice little spike right here. Meanwhile, we also have NQ here that is making a move. So I had a half risk entry right around here, and I'm actually going to, you know what, actually I might have had I think I risked a little more than half. But I do have another entry I want to take now that the highs have been swept. So I will be doing another, let's see, what can I do here? All right, so yeah, I'm going to be taking a position right here, right now. Just another little contract. Get in there. Did it actually risk? It doesn't really matter. So anyways, yeah, I've taken my position here. I'm averaged in, I believe, now between here and here. So what is the trade that I'm taking, right? I have a liquidity capture here. This takes out Monday, basically most of New York session's liquidity. Then we start to work our way down. From here, we start trading below this low during Asian session, during London session, and then here we are, right? So I'm currently taking a position right here. Obviously, now I'm right about a 1R risk, I think a little under, whereas Dow has already cleared New York highs. So I like the divergence there. S&P also clearing New York highs. So I'm very much open to this idea playing out now. Had I just waited, because I actually had set a limit while I went on a walk. So had I just waited, then for Dow to take out the highs, then honestly I would have had just the entry here. So yeah, I mean, whatever, it is what it is. I had a limit from earlier. My limit was based off of where we had previous levels of resistance. So we end up getting, so if right now for you guys are getting this entry, if you're choosing to trade, right, you guys basically took it right there. But my original entry was like right over here. So it averaged into like right there. So now I'm averaged in right around here. And then my risk reward on this trade, I do want to take it into imbalance. We have some pretty big movement still down here that we talked about yesterday, imbalance and everything. And so, you know, there's something that you could look at down there. But the first target really for me is right around here. So let's see if we get there. Let's see if we get the good reversal here. We have New York open in less than 8 minutes. So during London session, you know, the market started to kind of squeeze down here. I'll show you guys kind of what I mean. So we started to see the market squeeze over here, creating some support. You start to get 1 minute time frame shift in momentum here. So you see a little like nothing crazy, because technically you're still bearish here, but even smaller time frames, you start getting higher highs. Could have gone for maybe a buy right here if you were really feeling it. The market breaks above briefly, couple minutes, not really a break above structure, but does respect this move here before continuing. So I could see some people taking buy positions here during London. I wouldn't say it's an A+ setup, but it's not bad by any means. So you have that here. Dow as well. Actually, I think Dow does a better job of trading above, getting back into here, and then this actually holds structure above for longer, and then it works its way in. So you had another setup right there. The Dow move pretty solid, to be fair. So for those of you during London, I would say that small time frame positions did set up, and you had a very massive move with some potential here. So right now, we saw a little bit of a dip here with NQ. Not sure if we're going to get this drop. Comparing price action right now between S&P, Dow, and NQ, it just seems like NQ might slightly still be more bullish than just in this time frame, like in small, these 1 minute price actions. It just looks like it's pushing further and further ahead, while Dow and S&P are kind of just slowly pushing higher. So this is one of those situations where I guess in real-time price action, all of a sudden, despite the higher time frame being a better trade for NQ, right? Despite this, like, being able to mitigate, we saw that Dow, like, NQ is the only asset that didn't break the high, so it's definitely diverging. However, the price action was still a bit more bullish in real time with NQ. So when you start to see that, one of two things happens. So, and when I had set my limit, it wasn't like that, but whatever, I guess it is now. But when that starts to happen, or if you're noticing that, then you can take your trade with less risk. So you can approach your trade with like a half risk, just because all of a sudden, like, higher time frames, divergence is good. Lower time frames, divergence is not so great. So you can approach it with half risk, and if things start to change as price action unfolds, then cool, you can introduce the other half. Because sometimes this plays out and it'll change. So all of a sudden it'll start to melt. Like we'll see a bigger move happen later on, and it'll start to shift momentum. Or sometimes it just won't play out, and then you get stopped out. So yeah, it's that simple. So it's not by default going to be the better trade every time. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. Now, if the market is slowly working up to the zone and it's diverging, then you have a textbook A+ setup, take your full risk, and then you're good to go. So yeah, we shall see, my friends. We shall see what we get here. It's still possible. Like, just because you're in deep drawdown, it doesn't mean the trade's automatically a failure. Like, you can win trades like this, no problem. I couldn't tell you like how many times I've had deep retracement setups, and then all of a sudden, you end up catching the whole move anyways. So that's about it with this idea. What's good? I got an NQ sell. So I think, Corey, you were waiting for the same thing. What's up, Harshi? Mauri, Luis. All right, let me say what up to Drevis. What's going on? Kevin, buenos dias a Colombia. Feeling blessed. I love it, Karen. Ruben, if you're there, or if you guys, I don't know. I feel like y'all have the same YouTube account sometimes. Maury, Brian, what's good? Saludos. What's up, Steven, Patrick? What's up, y'all? Steph, Corey in here. Luis, Rafa, Michael, Edwin. What's good, bro? What's good, bro? We got, all right, NQ buy ran for 1 to 33. Okay. Would you have taken that? Would you have ran it for 1 to 33? What's up, Austin? Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. I don't remember what St. Patrick's Day actually is. I just know that it's green. I was looking at NQ sell too, but it's looking like the structure is changing to bullish. Okay, so you had the same thoughts. What did you end up doing? Morning, Greg. How's the fishing out there? Same entry in NQ. Cool. Okay. That's why I was conflicted right there. Had it marked up, but didn't like it. Okay. Hola. or Hala, I'm not really sure which one. 6N in a sell zone. Buenas tardes, Cesar. I'm also in the new trade. Excellent. Marty, what's up? How are you? Andres Matos. Noah, Brandon, Rodri. Morning, everyone. Made 567 profit on oil yesterday with your trade. Beautiful. Took it. Okay, cool. Entry 25002. Oh, beast. Okay, much better entry. Phenomenal fishing. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so apparently 6N is also in the zone. So we can take a look at that. Let me pull this up in a second. Just pulling up another setup here. Okay. Why wasn't this copied over? One second, y'all. Well, that's unfortunate. Actually, if this didn't get copied over, I think that's fortunate because I could get a better entry. Hold on, one second, guys. So I am experimenting with a different copy trader. As usual, there are learning curves to these things, and it did not copy over to everything else. Why is that the case? Okay, interesting. All right, well, we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we got a pretty good reaction. You guys saw we actually dipped back into profit. Some of you guys are sitting in profit. And then now it's ripping right back up. So the actual move is over here, right? Is this. So the big pump that we have here in the market, in my opinion, we have to go back like all the way over here. So we're talking about like well over 100-point move, 120-point move. It's a pretty massive move. So I would want to see a move like a very, very big move. So I'm saying like we got to drop way down over here for this to be like mitigated, for the setup to play out. So let's take a look at that. Dow is still exploding. S&P is still ripping, while NQ is somehow has not stopped us out yet. So that's good. We did end up going with the right class. And this is what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, price action now shifts, and Dow went just next level bullish, while NQ didn't quite follow the same exact, price action. However, now Dow is going down, and NQ still isn't dropping at the same pace that we would have obviously wanted to see. So, not sure if our trade is going to hold on here. Looks like it's very, very close of getting stopped out. We got a decent move, so we did get like a 60-point move here, but it just wasn't enough, right? So we do end up getting stopped out on this trade here. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. Got that. Got that there. Okay. All right. So give me 1 second, guys, so I can make sure like my trade copier thing is supposed to be working. But why aren't you working? All right, 1 second, y'all. Connections are good. Oh, that says disconnected. Well, it can't work if it's disconnected. What a noob. What a noob. Okay, well, There we go. All right. So to recap this trade, right, we did get a good reaction. So we ended up dropping about 60 points. And then from there, the market just wanted to continue with the trend. So I guess it just didn't want to give us a bigger rejection than that. So we do see this kind of move. But, like, this is not the full picture. Like, yes, we saw money come in. But, I mean, come on. Like, the move is just significantly bigger than that. So I would have expected, like, could we have adjusted stop loss? I mean, I guess, but let's see here. I guess the smart money move is just this. Was this little 5 second? You see, okay, so this is getting into such some grainy little details, but it gets to this moment right here. It stalls out for a little bit, makes one more pump for 61 points, and then going into the present, the drop that we got was exactly, I think, 61 points. So I guess that would have been the mitigation. We would have adjusted our stops. We would have saved ourselves a little bit of money, but nothing too crazy. I mean, I can't say ever go to the 5 second to find the beginning of these moves, so like whatever. It's a loss that I'm okay with being in. I think I could have definitely had less risk on this to start with, just because of how weird price action got. But at the end of the day, like, it ended up still giving us the drop that we wanted, despite Dow going extremely bullish right away. So cool, not a big deal there. But then this does bring us to Thursday's high here that we're seeing. So curious if any of you guys like the sell that we're in right now, right up here. Just so if you could see it, you have kind of a zone right there for a short here. And MNQ gives it sweeps the high a little bit better. NQ here, it does, but I'm talking about barely. Now, to be fair, these were with the previous contract, so if we really wanted to take a look at price here, I mean, we'd have to look at like NQ, was it H before? Over here. And NQH was a little bit better, was a little bit higher, so you possibly have reversals on NASDAQ in the zone that it's in now. It'll really come down to personal preference on these zones. So I think if we can trade a little bit higher, then I do like a possible sell here. Still, these equal highs are, I don't love them, so I would prefer to trade this with a little bit less risk, probably like a half risk, because this is borderline equal highs. But I could definitely see us, trading back down to these levels after a pretty good reversal. So I'm going to set a limit here. I'm going to go. There's a lot of divergence with Dow too, so I'm going to go 3/4 risk for this, based on what I typically take, and then have it set up here. Okay, now it copied over. Sick. And it copied over with half risk on some of these, on the ones that I need to. Nice. So what's cool, because I'm testing out Tradetopia or Tradetopia, not sure how they pronounce it, but what's really cool about them is that you can see what your drawdown limits are per prop firm. So like while you're taking the position, it'll show you, okay, like this is how much drawdown you have on this account. Like here are the rules. And then it'll also show you, there's like a prop firm tracker. So you can keep track of your expenses on the account. You can how much you're getting in payouts on the account. So the copying, I'm already starting to like this better than TradeSyncer, and it's cheaper. So for those of you, like, I haven't made my decision yet if like, oh, this is the one I'm going to be using, but there's definitely like I'm seeing some things that I like. That's for sure. Okay, so right now, price action again. S&P too, guys. Like, S&P is pretty solid for that move. Same move as before. S&P takes out the highs and then drops. Dow in that same zone. And then you got, obviously, NQ in a similar position. So NQ, S&P. It does look like NQ does have the better of these ideas here. So right now it's in a zone. I feel like market execution over here also isn't a terrible idea. Dow is now starting to go a little bit higher, while NQ is starting to actually go lower. You're starting to see now that 1 minute time frame divergence here. So this already is looking like it's got some potential. I wonder if we see the market break. So obviously, like, your risk reward does change if you take a position a little bit lower here. So like, for example, here I don't have a full risk in effect already. So one thing I'm going to do right now is this. Let's see. So we got to go back. Okay, what's the motive behind the entry? Right? Why am I entering here and maybe not at a lower position? The reason I'm not entering there was because I like that we had support over here in the past and a little bit of resistance up here at a higher zone. So I did like that. However, there is support here and here. So I don't think it's a bad entry still here. And the risk reward is definitely there. And we're starting to see the market struggle to go higher. And the divergence is there. So we get one little pullback. I think I'm going to pull the trigger a little bit lower here. So I'm going to go half risk right here. And then half risk a little bit higher. And just to add up to like that 3/4 risk that I wanted. So see how we're like right around here now. This would still be a 2R if this one hits. So I'm going to go here. So I have a contract in. This is the issue with market execution, is it's going to fill you wherever it's best, like whatever order is there. So you saw how I got filled about 5 points away from where I wanted to get filled. So that's, obviously kind of annoying. And then the rest of my risk I'm going to have over here. So this was just so I can, have a position in case this thing just wants to melt. And then up here is where ideally I have more. And then they would average me out. If this one gets triggered, then you get averaged out a little bit higher. And then the risk reward, you'll be able to see exactly what it is. But since my thoughts are that we're going to get at least a 3.5, 3.75 R on this, still worth the trade for me. And then if it does go without triggering this one in, cool, still have a little something running. Okay, all trades here active. Cool. Good execution on all of them. Nice. Gives you a nice little P&L card. So I'm testing out obviously like different things and the difference between them. So this is interesting. Okay, let's look at the difference in price right now between NQ and oh no. So NQ is going higher. Dow is still. So price action between these is so choppy, wishy-washy, back and forth. So I'm not really too concerned on the smaller time frame quite yet. It looks like I might get triggered up here. What's up? What's up, Kai? I'm trying Tradetopia, disconnecting my account. Did you already have it disconnected somewhere else? Like, were you using one before? If you're using a different one, then make sure like that's all deleted and disconnected. And then yeah, just check. Always look at your trade copier, and then just make sure we're under the connections that they're connected before you trade. And then from there, like they'll have a little green light on them, and then you'll be good. Good for the people. What's up? What's up? I ended up cutting stop loss in half because there's a big drop and also everything else was so bullish. Nice, well done. Was only able to take on one account, got disconnected from the other two. Okay. Are you now good at this point? Like, are you connected and you're all set now? Crazy, we have the NQ sell model. Is it crazy though? At this point, every time I hear the sirens, I take it as a reminder to stick to my risk. Because somewhere out there, they're on the way to pick up someone who over-leveraged. Yo. That's crazy. Did you disconnect from TradeSyncer or still attached there as well? You're testing. Different accounts. I have different accounts. I just kind of want to see the difference. Yeah, so look, price is so back and forth with now NQ is a little bit more bullish and Dow is a little more bearish. It's just kind of being a pain in the ass. So I'm glad I'm under leveraged, or not under leveraged, but I'm not fully leveraged in here for a reason, because we're getting more of the same today. We're getting NQ was a better divergence, so it was not quite in the zone the same way that Dow was. So just to give you guys again another perspective here, right? You have this trading over here, whereas Dow was trading way up in this range already. So back and forth, and now we'll see what it's going to do. Meanwhile, S&P up here. All right, so a little bit of drawdown. The actual entry averaged in right there. So exit, it's at about a 3R if it gets there. Gotta make sure my stops are in the right place. This is why does it keep doing that? Right above this, in case it wants to do a little equal high action. Okay. All right, so we're good there. We have our risk in place. Drawdown is set. I didn't go look at 6N, so I know there was, I think Michael, right? You were talking about 6N. How's that trade going? Let's go take a look. So you're looking at a sell here. Okay, a sweep. So I don't like this structure too much on this one. I see how Monday's New York session clears some liquidity and then we work our way down, but this kind of shape, I don't know how to describe it, but like when the market makes this kind of like U shape like this, typically, like, this to me shows just as quickly as it went down, it went right back up. And I feel like this is more of a let's fill imbalance and then go back up rather than creating a structure. You know what I mean? Like, same thing. Look at Euro. Euro, quick move down, quick move up. But Euro's trading a lot higher. Whereas Australian or the pound did the same thing. Quick move down, quick move up. So they all moved very similarly. Australian here, quick move down, quick move right back up. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not super in love with this idea for that reason. I will say what's on your side is I think it's the least bullish though. So I mean that's better. Like everything else is trading away above it. So yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go for that. If anything, I think that spike down that happened here, right? This happens during Asian session towards the end of it. It could be setting up for buys for a couple different ideas. Like Euro here has the zone way down here, but also we see the market swipe, create the lows, and then rally. So like Euro now has a liquidity sweep of some New York session movement, well, all of New York session actually. So it clears out New York lows and then rallies. So now you see something like this. What else has that? Swiss franc did something similar. Yen did something similar. But yen is now struggling to do its thing, right? So New York highs are swept. New York highs are getting swept across the board. So I'd say that we have potential for maybe some reversals here. So I'm going to have some alerts set. I'm not committed to buys yet. I want to see what structure looks like here. What could be a curious idea is honestly the yen for a sell. So what kind of setup does it look like this is creating, guys? For the yen. Who could tell me in the chat? Shakeout. Okay. Yeah, you guys got it. All right. Okay, so give me 1 second, guys. Okay, yeah, so you got a shakeout going on here. Also, I can go back to this, so I'll come back to this in a second. Just give you guys a little check-in with NASDAQ. We are dropping back down, so we're getting a pretty good move. The move that I had here was a good 78 points or so. We are starting to drop about 30, so we're right around entry again. So I do want to see this go lower. I think it should be able to push lower before we reduce risk. Also now we're really starting to drop pretty aggressively with NQ as Dow is slowly pushing lower. So I wonder if this kind of turns into our favor or not. But imbalance getting filled right here. It looks like NQ could start to go more bearish, let's see if that's going to be the case. Okay, so cool. We'll let that thing do its thing. If this alerts goes off, then I know we'll be able to adjust our stop. All right, so going back to the yen, we see how the yen starts to pick up momentum here before New York open. So it starts to rip to the upside, and then obviously it just struggles now. Struggles to maintain these highs. So this is clearly a liquidity sweep. Clear this is out, fills the imbalance. Now what we want to see with the yen is, especially with these highs right here, this level of resistance, what we would prefer to see, or what I would prefer to see, would be, let's have the market entice retail buys here and then come up again. And then now when these retail buys are in profit and the break and retest on the buys are in profit, then the market can push lower and we can go for what we had going on over here. So something like this is what I would want to see out of this yen idea. This could put us into a great trade, you know, somewhere over here. Whether it's where we have resistance or higher. So something like this. And then, you know, just take this down 4R. Why not? Okay. So here's a yen idea. I'm liking it. March 17, 2026. We got a 6J yen here. So potential shakeout. Okay, so that's there. If you're into it, let me know. Let me see if there's anything else setting up similar to it. Let's see, 6S kind of took out some highs, working its way lower. Got 6N making that drop, right? I think, Michael, that's what you were looking for. You were looking for a sell here, so maybe you're now in profits. I didn't like the structure enough, but I mean, like I said, right? It was the least bullish out of everything. So if it was going to play out, this was going to be the only one that could really have a chance, especially because, like, I mean, you did trade below here for basically 3 hours. So 5-minute structure, bearish, but, you know, you are trading against the momentum for the week and you have an imbalance over here. That's why I was a little bit more cautious about this idea. But I will say, between any asset, like, it was the best positioned for a short, for sure, by far. Okay, so then we had Euro, right, that has these higher highs, which we're about to see whether it's going to hold or not. So Euro potentially creating a buy scenario here as well. Okay. So we got this. Okay, so 6E. Potential buy mitigation, waiting for bullish structure confirmation. All right, NQ starting to go lower, also more bearish than Dow now, so that's Obviously, that helps us. I'll pull that up here in a second. All right, so here's euro as well. Okay, so we'll look at oil and gold here in a second. Trying to give you guys some updates with NQ. So we're dropping again back into this range, going lower, tapping into the previous level of resistance here. So this is starting to work its way lower as Dow is still kind of consolidating. So we are in at least in the right asset for now, what it seems like. Okay, now let's go look at oil. Doing its thing here. Yesterday was funny because I was like, we had our buy, right? And then we were up right around here. So actually, let me go over here. We had the buy set up, and then the market was in profit. And then this is exactly where I sent the screenshot. I was like, all right, guys, like, and I guess I can just pull it up here. So it's like at this point, our oil trade is reaching a key imbalance. You should be sitting around 2.5 hour. Taking profit here is very reasonable. I'm personally trading towards a higher reversal zone, but my stop is sitting at a structure point and about 1.5 hour in profit. And so that was right here, right in this imbalance, 86 or 96.35. So that to compare, right, we go back to here. Right around here is where I was at, right, 96.35. So this was, as you can see, right, you can start to see where you get pretty common reversal zones, imbalance being one of the profit areas. This is always a great place to take profit. Even a place to take partials. I don't really take partials too often. I'm not opposed to reintroducing that if it makes sense in my system. I'd have to do the math, and then if I want to, do all of that all the time. But anyways, just so you guys can see, like, there are pretty key areas where the market does start to lose steam and reverses. So that was the case. But then by the time that this ended up pulling back, we was able to lock in a 1.5 hour here. So just so that you guys had that in mind. And then someone asked me about oil in the chat. What was it? One to 6 on gold. Nice. Steve, let's go, bro. I remember you were saying like your biggest struggle was holding trades, and now you're letting them rip. 1 to 6 on gold. Beautiful. Let's see. Oil zone is playing out. I didn't take it, wasn't ready. What was your oil zone? Here? I feel like... Okay, interesting. CL, so CL, which is where you want to look at, did clear the lows. Broke the Tokyo low. Ooh. And then traded into this like New York session. Sick. So this is what you were looking for, yeah? Right here. Traded into this area, and then you were set. Here's a good lesson on looking at the mini charts and not just the micros, even though you're trading micros. The micros basically left liquidity here. It just all looks like equal lows over here. Very borderline. And then this Tokyo Open is very different. Whereas you look at the mini chart, this breaks Tokyo lows, trades right into here, and then you're set. So yeah, that's a good mitigation. This has already done its thing. Filled. Well done. Now I know maybe some of you are thinking, and look at this, guys. Here was our original take profit from yesterday. Right over here. NQ now in profit. So getting close to being able to adjust stops as well. I'm going to come back to oil. Don't you worry. There's not really anything to take quite yet, so we can get here without having to be in a rush. Okay, so take a look at this. Now the market is rejecting. So we've seen about 60 points to the downside. Obviously, if you look at Dow is filling this imbalance really well. So becoming efficient, and balance fills are important here. Dow Jones is dropping more though, right? In my opinion, we're seeing a bigger move. This imbalance fill started at New York Open, whereas NQ has New York Open way down here. So Dow definitely leading the move to the downside now. So because it's moving more aggressively, I'm actually going to tighten up my stops, because at this point, like, we're in the wrong asset class, it seems like. So there's two ways to look at this. Either you tighten your stop because you don't want to have too much exposure, since you might not be in what's trading the most bearish. So that's one. Two, you keep it open because, well, one, it hasn't fully mitigated, but two, just in case this wants to just wick and then make the move, you're able to withstand that kind of pullback, right? Those are the main differences here. So I'm going to wait for mitigation. I think that these equal lows should get cleared nonetheless, and then we can start tightening up. Just so we get the full actual movement. But since we are not necessarily in the, let's say, the most bearish asset, I do think that pullbacks here are very much possible. What you can do is, did Dow fully mitigate? So you have this here. Dow's move, let's say, was something like this. About 150 points. And then right now, we've seen Dow drop over 150 points. So if we already saw the mitigation there, if you want to see this from this lens, you can look at the previous contract too if you want to. This is what it was trading. Here was the move. So you had this move up here. Obviously this has done its thing. So if Dow has already mitigated and Dow is more bearish, then I think it's only responsible to reduce stops with NQ. So that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, this could end up spiking up, taking me out, and then making the move. That's fine. I am at peace with this decision here. Okay. That's been adjusted. Obviously, you guys, do what you got to do. Protect your entries. Don't, whatever. But have a plan. Follow it. And then we have oil. Okay, going back to oil. So, with oil here, oil, right, does its thing. Clears it. Trades back up. Now, we had a good amount of consolidation here. So consolidation, building up. It's all smooth. We break above. We've been trading above here now for a couple minutes, 8 minutes or so. Would love to see this stay bullish for longer. We're starting to see shifts in structure here. Just a 1 minute. But if this doesn't stay up like this, because basically what I would want to see is, I think there's possibility for a buy position here, but I would like to get more structure before anything. All right, so let's look at 6J. All right, so here's the question. Is this enough, guys? The yen traded over here about 10 minutes up and down, break and retest. Is this a good enough opportunity for a buy or for a sell for the yen? Remember, we were looking at this. So what do you guys think? I'm going to take a swing at this. Yeah, I'm with it. Shakeout, counter trend with the yen. I'm going to go 3/4 risk on this one. And then take a swing at this bad boy. Do I have the margin? Yes. Okay. So now entry's here instead. So this is the idea. All right, takes out New York highs. Check. Sweep that. We come back in. Check. We trade basically down here for, about 15 minutes or so. So this lures in buyers, gives a chance for break and retest buyers to join the party here. So it basically went as expected. Here, finds resistance, access support, and then makes the move. Great. So now basically, now we wait and see. If this was enough to lure in more buyers and for this to give the reversal. Okay, so that's set in stone. And so keep an eye on that. The yen, obviously I'm using TradingView here to set the conditions, everything. Okay. Now going back to NQ here, dropping back down. Let's see if it's getting ready to break below these. This little consolidation here. Does it want to sweep liquidity, trade back into New York Open? If you're someone that's like, I want a conservative profit and you're not so interested in the big move, then honestly trading into New York Open right here is not terrible. Probably give you like over a 1-to-1, but that could be a reason why the market wants to turn around. With the move down to here, I would definitely all right, see now we've really broken these lows. Sweet, now we're filling in balance. Now NQ is mitigating properly. Excellent. Okay, so that's doing its thing. Very nice. Since the market is so efficient here, so look at how this is moving. I mean, where do you want to move your stop to? Sure, you can have it right there. But if this is already pretty efficient, the pullbacks are solid, do you need to keep that there? Can you tighten up your stop even more is the question. All right, can you just, go over here now? Right here. Well, what about this one? Market pulled back really nice to here too. Can we just have it there? Honestly, probably. Like, it's just so clean. So it just depends on how much you want to reduce your stop. What kind of wiggle room do you want for anything? Obviously, one of the things that you might be noticing is like, okay, is this starting to create a trend line liquidity? Can it sweep it and then make the drop, right? Do I want to be, you know, able to withstand something like that? So if that's the case, okay, I say maybe then don't go all the way down to this low. But I would understand if you go break even, especially if your trade was a little bit higher. But yeah, I mean, it's moving nicely. Little risk on the table. I think our yen trade is going well as well. Okay, yeah, we're starting to drop in there. Nice. Cool. So the yen trade is moving. Typically, I go and reduce my stop once we break this low. So wherever we were building liquidity, once that's broken and we kind of break and make that new low, then on shakeouts, I'll start to tighten up my stops. Interesting. Okay. So what's interesting is, and I don't really trade the yen too often, but my Lucid accounts didn't take the yen, I don't think. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so yen going in our favor. We're in profit there about almost a 1-to-1. No, that's wrong. A little bit less than that. And Q just trading into, right about to trade into this New York Open. Okay, so we're seeing this over here. Very nice. Here's New York Open right there, right here is where that starts. So reversals out of here, like I mentioned, I mean, yeah, they're possible. Your risk reward here, all of a sudden, this thing is so annoying. Okay, so your risk reward right now, if you took the exact trade I took, then you'd be sitting at like a 1R. So is that a great take profit? If your win rate is high enough, for sure. I mean, base hits, they'll add up. Don't get me wrong. Is it what I would want though? No, that's just not what I'm going to take. And not because of how much I want to profit, but because of what I believe the market can just go and accomplish, like the imbalances and you know, we have London lows, Tokyo lows. Not that we need to get all the way to here, but I think that there's just key levels of structure and imbalance that the market can easily get to, and so I'm focused on the market getting to these levels. So yeah, I'm gonna add the sell limit here. Wait, no, I'm tripping. Buy limit here. Okay, so that's there. Obviously, we can take a look at Dow and see, okay, well, where's Dow at? Does Dow have a reversal point as well that we should keep in mind? Key structure levels are right here where we saw resistance and this order block right there. So Dow working its way to here could be the case. And then same thing as London, this little push down in Tokyo. So getting to over here also makes a lot of sense. All right, so we're seeing the drop. Here's where we might see Dow want to reject a little bit. That might give NQ a little bit of pushback. With how much we're moving, guys, now I am going to go break even. Getting good movement. just like that. Here we're getting the bounce out of this zone. So whether that was a take profit place for you, cool, or it was just, it's an expected area for a reversal. Doesn't mean it's got to reverse all the way back, but it's like just psychologically, emotionally, you're ready for it. So either this was a profit point for you, or it was just something for you to be ready for. And considering that Dow and NQ are sitting in like the same place, obviously it was just kind of fair to expect, in my opinion. Okay, and it's honestly been a pretty strong one. So this may end up coming back all the way to entry. It's very much possible. Obviously, Dow not really as aggressive on the pullback. If you want a chance at staying at this, then obviously you can move your stop back so you can maybe have a little bit more wiggle room. That's not really my interpretation of this, especially because it came down and up so fast. I would rather just keep it there and whatever. If it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. Yen, on the other hand, is now starting to break lower, so I am going to tighten up my stop over here. So now I'm at reduced risk on the yen, sitting in profits. We're at about here, so let's see, a little under a 1R on the yen. Meanwhile, NQ is not doing us any favors and immediately reversed back. So the New York Open was definitely a key reversal point for it, and so was Dow's order block over here. I feel like if you're in Dow, if you're trading Dow right now, if you're in the Dow short, then obviously, dude, you're chilling. Like, you got nothing to worry about. Stops are probably in profit over here is where I would want it. Yeah, I mean, Dow is holding up really nicely, so I feel like NQ could have a shot. I'm willing to go to like right here for structure to see it play out. And then worst case, I'd lose a small amount. And the only reason I'm doing that is because Dow is just giving healthy movement. So Dow looks like it wants to keep going lower. So that means NQ probably will too, except that NQ's pullbacks are just way nastier. The retracements are way worse. So had we just been in Dow, then obviously it's a completely different environment. Okay, so yeah, let's see what we got. The thing is, if Dow wants to pull back to this order blocker to here, NQ might just go up too much. So like that's why it's understandable to be a bit more like, if you want to just be like, all right, let me just not even deal with drawdown anymore. Let me just whatever market. We chose the wrong asset. It doesn't go as bearish as you'd want. It is what it is. So you're either playing defense with this and you're at break even, or whether you have your stop here, wherever your heart desires. You're either a bit more conservative, more protective of capital, or you like the overall idea of indices just continuing to short and you give yourself obviously more wiggle room for that. But look at how Dow is basically already back down to this area, and then NQ is just like, just like not even doing shit. So honestly, like, this is not good price action. I'm gonna just not even deal with this. I'm gonna have my stop at break even. If it goes higher, whatever. This just doesn't look like it's really going to drop the same way Dow wants to. And then S&P here is somewhere in between, as usual. So, yeah, unfortunately, NQ decided to not continue the vibes that we were on here. So maybe it comes back and we start to see it. It kind of works out. But for now, I'd rather not lose money on an asset that's not even dropping that much anyways. So yeah, I'm cool with this. Now another perspective with this idea as well would be the shakeout with Dow. So for example, we clearly start to rip here from New York Open. Starts before New York Open, we start to clear New York highs, we work our way over, and then we immediately melt our way down. So right now it's been, market's been trading here for 7 minutes. Either it's going to keep trading here or go lower. And if we do end up coming back, let's say it just chops up, we end up getting pullbacks to here, maybe over to here, well, then you have another trade, right? You have a shorting opportunity to be a part of. But if not, then you don't. So at least our yen trade is continuing to drop, so that's giving us something. Okay, maybe NQ with the comeback over here. Obviously Dow, man. Dow with the dub. Yeah, Dow's trading so much better. NQ is like trying its very best. And then here's the next place where I would imagine we can get some reversal again would be after dropping another 100 points, right around here, right where we have these where this was the London high before in this imbalance. So yeah, I think we could see something there. All right, who's in NQ? Who took Dow? Anyone in the yen still? Let me know. Took profit on NAS for over a 2R since SP took the open. Perfect. Looks like Lucid executed 6J for me with TradeSync. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't for me. It might have been a margin reason. No, because I don't have to do the contract thing. You know how with TradeSync, you have to basically like make sure all the contracts are set in stone. Like you don't have to do that with the yen. You don't have to do that with Tradetopia or Tradetopia. So yeah, I'm not sure why I wouldn't do it. I'll have to double check. But here's a big thing though. With Lucid, these are challenges. So I don't know if it's different between a challenge and an eval. Break even on NQ, break even on 6J. I love that. In NQ, what a roller coaster. Sick. Locked out 2 accounts for max profit. Beautiful. Love to see that. Up 3% on the aggressive account we talked about because of this trade. Sick. Okay. Is anyone doing a Lucid challenge and you did take yen? I just haven't seen the rules. I don't know if it's like an asset that you can't trade or something. I don't see why I wouldn't though. Thinking of a shakeout on NQ buy. Shakeout on NQ buy. Of what? Shakeout on NQ buy? Oh, no, I definitely would not take that trade. Sure, it took out a little bit of liquidity here. But, like, for me, I like high time frame liquidity captures, not just, like, a little consolidation and whatever. Like, no, that's kind of irrelevant to me. But that's just my standards with that trade. Okay. Cool. So I'll have to double check then why it didn't open. Because it traded it across all of my Tradefy accounts, but it didn't on here. Oh, wow. I'm in this thing. Crazy. Did it miss me by like a hair or what? Huh? By 3/4 of 1 point. Sick. Will we survive? We shall see. We shall see, my friends. All right, yen. Can put you right there. And Q. What you gonna do? You down to share some wisdom live? I got a question I wanted to ask but didn't text it to you. Sure? What do you got for me, man? What you got? What you got? Okay, oil. Nah, this wouldn't be a valid setup for me. Because we don't really, I mean, okay. We have a break above the 1 minute. We trade above here for like 30 minutes. So I'd say this is like a mitigation on the 1 minute structure here. One minute, 5 minute is good, like here. We traded above here for quite some time as well. So, okay, I mean, I can see it. I'm not super convinced on just a 1 minute break of structure. So I probably wouldn't go like a full risk on this. And then where would I target this trade? Either this imbalance over here. Yeah, this would be the setup here. So like this. Right here. And then we're talking 4R potential with the market trading into this imbalance, these highs like right over here. 4.44. Some light. Create limit. Yeah, we'll go like half risk on this one. Actually, I like it alright. I won't go full, but I'll go 3/4 risk. Which this is not going to let me go 3/4. That's like 65, 70% risk. That's fine. Of what I normally would risk. That's cool. I'm cool with that. And then I'll have a alert here if we start to get closer. Somehow after like an hour and a half, I still didn't even make it to. I didn't even make it to trading, to looking at gold or silver. That's how busy we've been today. Been busy. All right, gold is just. Yo, this thing is going crazy. We have so much consolidation here. I mean, do I want to trade anything here? it's just pretty iffy. It's not great. You have Tokyo highs sweep New York, drops here. I feel like I'd rather just get outside of this thing, like sweep the high or sweep the low, whichever, and then trade. I prefer that, I believe, right now. Silver has a really nice drop way over here. So buys over here look fantastic later on. But even then, this still 15-minute structure is really weak. Really, really weak. So I don't love it. NQ, I believe now is finally going to take me out. Or not. We'll see. I'm curious to see where is Dow relative to NQ. So Dow has been working its way higher, and then NQ is like sitting right there. This is hilarious. It's like just not getting the job done. Okay. Maybe it won't, maybe it will. All right, let me read your question here. Okay. So you said, so with me trying to be more confident, I don't want that to turn into ego. How do you stay humble in January, for example, when you make over 100K? It's a good question. I guess it depends on how do you define. Okay, so the real question is, how do you stay humble after, let's say, you make a lot of money or something, right? I guess it depends on how you're defining ego and confidence and what brings confidence to you. So I don't feel, and this is something that you really have to intentionally define and understand about yourself, but I don't feel confidence because I got the outcome only. I feel more confident because I know what it took to get there. Like, I know what kind of discipline it took to get there. I know all the hours that it took to accomplish, like just the studying, putting our effort in. So it's really about not just effort, but about the quality of decision making. And also, it's like not really a metric that is so important to me. Like, money is great. Obviously, it's a great resource. It changes your life on the outside, right? It reduces suffering externally, for sure. But it's like not what makes you great. Money is always a byproduct. It's not what makes you great at something. It's like you're not a better athlete because you got a bigger contract. You're not a better artist because you paid more. Not necessarily. There's a lot of amazing musicians and artists that don't make a lot of money. Doesn't make them less great. So in terms of confidence really will come from evaluated experience and from understanding, like, also I think a big part of it is understanding where your mistakes come from or where the losses come from. So for example, knowing that you can lose in a certain way but still be a winner, that'll give you more confidence. Being able to take a loss and being like, well, that's fine because I know like my wins are going to come at a pretty healthy rate. So like that this one little moment does not define me. So yeah, it's like with trading specifically, the confidence shouldn't come from, a winning streak. It shouldn't come from the fact that you got funded or you got a payout. Like, if you're getting ego lifted or super confident because of an achievement, like you got funded or you got paid out, like you're not seeing the big picture. Like if your ego is going up, here's why, and this might hurt some of you right now, and that's okay. But here's why some people get overconfident over just getting funded or just getting a payout. And it's because that's as far as your mind and your belief systems are. So you broke you broke the lid of your belief system. So now you're doing something you've always wanted to do. You've accomplished something, but because you're just comparing it to where you've been, not to where you truly want to go. So if you really want to, because you know how there's this phrase, right? That's like, comparison is the thief of all joy. You've all heard of that, right? So if you believe comparison is the thief of all joy, which I think that's true, but because of one reason. Comparison is the thief of all joy if you're insecure. If you're insecure, or the spectrum of insecurity, then yes, that's absolutely true. And most of us are. Everyone's insecure. Some are more, some are less. This is the truth. But I think comparison is useful when you're comparing yourself to the future version of where you want to be, or you're comparing yourself with other people that are doing things right. And you go, perfect. That's a standard that I can be at. Awesome. I can challenge myself to get there. I know it's possible. It's not comparison between your own results and like, oh, I'm so small, I suck. Cool, that's insecurity speaking. It's, all right, it can be done that way. It can be accomplished this way. So you can use that in a good way. But yeah, anyways, a lot of times we get our egos inflate, not because we're doing something so crazy, so incredible, but because you're doing something that maybe you haven't done before or you've been striving for. So yes, be happy for yourself. Yes, feel committed, feel proud. Yeah, absolutely. But like, as Kobe once said, right? The job ain't finished. The job ain't finished. The processes still need to be done. Just because you've achieved something new doesn't mean that you can just start skipping the processes. You can't just start, like, you got a payout. Okay, did you only get a payout? Or did trading your system well get you the payout? Which was it? Which was it? It's like the same thing where the blame goes. Oh, are you blaming yourself? Or, oh, like this strategy doesn't work. Nah, bro, you don't work the strategy. But when you're making money, it's like, man, I'm so good at trading. Oh, we're not going to talk about the strategy no more? Okay. All right, so let's see. Cool. All right, Michael, appreciate you, bro, for helping out there. Confidence to me comes from example, people aspiring to lift the way I'm lifting, for example. Yeah, so you're thinking about people. Like, it's the same thing. Like, if you have to get your confidence from outside of you, you're not getting confidence. You're getting ego. If it's coming from outside of you, all you're doing is you're getting ego. You're just feeding, it's a status. And this is something that I'm glad that you're talking about this here live. And I'm sure right now it's psychology, it's mindset. Like, y'all can leave. Sure, if you want to leave, get out of here. You're not going to make it. That's fine. So here's what happens. If the confidence is coming, if you feel like you're getting more confident because it's coming from the outside, then what matters to you right now is status. Status matters more. How people perceive you matter a lot. And I don't think that's a very sustainable, it's not a sustainable approach to life in general. That obviously is my take. I could be wrong, but that's just how I believe things. And so where does that come from? Why is being looked at a certain way matter so much, right? Damn, did the yen come back too? Stop loss modified on MCF. Oh, no, oil. My bad. My bad, guys. Here we go. Oh, this thing just came in. It didn't even give me the alert. That's crazy work. All right, well, it looks like oil's in. So, yeah, that's my take on it. What I would do is I would do some soul searching. I would do some reflection. Okay, why does it matter? You know, why does it matter so much that someone sees me in this perspective or in that perspective? Like, where does that come from? Probably comes from, you know, usually it's always about childhood, teenage years, something like that. And then it's like, no, like, you know, I don't know your history. I don't know what you've been through, but do some digging in there. And then you might realize, like, damn, I'm trying to fulfill, like, I want to make my 13-year-old self feel better if I get status now, but that's not really what's really going to change things anymore. Like, that happened already. At a time that, you know, and I don't know this about you, but I'm just saying in general, like, this might apply to somebody. If there was a 13, 15-year-old version of you where, you know, maybe you were bullied, maybe you were overlooked, and obviously it probably didn't feel good whatsoever, but that can't, like, getting attention now doesn't change that you didn't get it before. But now, you know, like, I'm either, you know, people just sucked before, or maybe you sucked before too. That's also possible. And that's the reality. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Sometimes we pity ourselves, we play the victim, but, like, bro, you might have sucked when you were a kid. You might have been a pain in the ass. Does anyone deserve to be bullied? No. But maybe you just weren't who you needed to be. Or maybe you did just have people that were just not great people and they made you feel less than. Great. But now you build yourself, your character, your identity, you know, your habits, so where it's irrefutable. Like, you know you're him. You know you're her. Like, you just know it now. Why? Because the confidence comes from the evidence. You've done the work enough where it's like, no. Like, trust, I know. Like, I put in the work. It's undeniable. So, it's just the facts. All right. Dow doing his thing. Got you. I was always that small dude. And here's the thing. Like, if the past you weren't living up to who you wanted to be, you can't force it in the present either. Like, go earn it. Go earn it. Don't take the cheat codes. Don't do all the, like, just go get it done. It might be hard. Like, right now, learning how to trade. Some of you might be new. And you might be slower in some elements. The, you know, technical stuff might be harder. Psychology stuff might be harder. The software and stuff might be harder. That's fine. Like, it takes you longer. Okay, get it done. Just get it done. That's all that really matters. Like, the timing, whatever, dude. Like, just do it. It's up to you. You either let the barrier have ownership over you and, like, oh, well, this is hard. It's taking me longer. Okay, then just be okay with sucking at this, or be okay with quitting at this. Be okay with never making this happen. That's fine. But guess what? Any other thing that you go and learn is also going to have a learning curve. It's also going to take time. And your perception on challenges is always going to be the same. So it's not that, guess what? If a lot of things you've given up on, it's not the things. It's that you just give up on yourself way too early. It's just that you don't have a good relationship with a challenge, with difficulty. And that is always going to stick with you. Remember, you take you everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. Albert, I see that you requested in the school community, bro. I saw the message. But if you want to post it 17 more times in the chat, then you know what, man? You just pour your heart out. Get in there. Keats. Actually, I don't see you in here at all. I'm not going to lie, which is hilarious because you're spamming me and you're not even in here. What's your name? What's your actual name? Yeah, you're already in here. Oh, no, you're in here. All right, you're in here. Albert, I got you, bro. I got you. Don't worry. You're in. Someone approved you with, and it wasn't even me. An admin did. Bagged a 5R on 6J. Beast. All right. Mike, you're the G of the G's, bro. Thank you, Harshi. I got you. I was okay. Took the short NQ and closed early. I missed a big win. I feel sick now. It's just one trade. It's one trade. Yeah, it's one trade. There will be more. Trust. Thank you for all your help and insight, Mike. Wouldn't be who I am without some of these sessions you've done. I appreciate you, man. That means a lot to me, genuinely. It's what we do it for. Had the stream on in the background and Mike out here dropping gems. Getting bullied by Mike in the syndicate is the best thing that ever happened to me. That's actually hilarious. That's for a good cause. I said this is Sarah today. We're all on the same track. Just some people have a longer track. I love that. Yes. We're all on the same track. Some people just have a longer track. Also, like, your track will speed up in certain times when it's slow for others. It'll be slow for you when it's fast for others. It's just not the same pace. There's moments where someone's running a sprint and someone can be on a sprinting pace for a season and you're in a marathon pace. And then it'll flip too. Yeah, Vaughn, you're finally listening. We're done with the constant charts. You're good, Albert. I'm just playing with you, man. If this is your first session with me, just know that I'm going to mess with you guys relatively often. Okay, you guys are just looking at me, huh? You're not even looking at the charts? I forgot about that. So I got triggered into this I wouldn't say without my consent, but I wanted an alert, and then that just didn't happen apparently. And then I just got into it, so that's kind of lame, but whatever. 6J, oh, coming back, what? No, damn, dude. So today has been a got into profit, pulled back type of day. Sad. Very sad. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to wrap up the session, guys, today, I mean, I hope you guys learned something. Markets, NQ is still really choppy. Looks like Dow is working its way back. Honestly, the Dow shakeout is appealing to me. We've seen it build up buyers over here after liquidating this. So we worked our way over. However, it did break this low, so I'm not so sure how much I love the shakeout. That'll be a maybe in real time call. But yeah, I mean, some break-even trades. We did float into profit quite a bit, but then came back. So profit potential, yes, on multiple opportunities. But at the end of the day, here's the thing. Here's what you don't want to do. And I'm going to wrap up with this because I already know someone's going to fuck this up today. Just statistically speaking, it's what happens. But if the profits escaped you, don't go chasing them today. Don't just go force a random trade that isn't there. Right? Don't start just taking entries and entries and entries and entries. Like, don't marry your bias. This is me warning you. Don't throw away your entire account because you feel a little bit inadequate right now, because you feel like the market's cheated me, or you feel like you cheated yourself. So don't. It's all right. It's good. Let the emotions cool. Prioritize a high quality setup. Don't prioritize, feeling good about yourself again. This is by design, right? The markets do this on purpose. Like, trust me. And as you start to redefine how you validate yourself as a trader, it's going to get easier. But if the only thing that ever matters to you is like making profits today, or passing, or getting funded, or making X amount of dollars or X amount of percentages, look, the only thing that you need to prioritize right now is how good am I at doing what I say I'm going to do? Like, that's like probably one of the most important things in your life, like, and how you operate, is how often can you do what you said you were going to do? If you're pretty damn good at that, like, you're going to live a really good life. Especially when you're really good at choosing what you're supposed to do. So get good at choosing, start learning how to decide what matters, what are the right things to do. Then just keep that promise to yourself pretty often. You do those things, you're chilling. Like, you're good. How you treat other people. You tell yourself, okay, this is how I'm going to treat other people. Respect, empathy, awareness, just conscientiousness, thoughtfulness, consideration. Boom, done. You're amazing. You do that, keep your word to yourself. Awesome. How you have great relationships. You do that with how you treat your body, what you put into your body. Fantastic. Here's what I believe I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. You do that with your attention, your mind, right? What am I consuming? All right, this is what I'm going to do, and I got to keep to that word. You do that with your trading. You do that with your money. Like, all right, you're going to be straight. So, cool. That being said, guys, much love. Appreciate you all, as always, for being on. If you guys want more specifically, then I highly encourage you to join our syndicate. Direct feedback multiple times a week. We have your entire 1-year program. Like,